Food and Beverage Magazine Live, bringing food and beverage to life. With your hosts, James Beard Award winner Jennifer English and Food and Beverage Magazine publisher Michael Politz. Featuring leaders in the hospitality, branded food and beverage, and CPG industries, many of whom are Jennifer and Michael's friends in the business. For an informal and informative conversation where friends in the business share the latest intel, ideas, and best practices. Live, juicy inside scoop from the tastemakers, newsmakers, bread bakers, drink shakers, spoon lickers, clam diggers, farms, foodies, and friends of the food and beverage magazine world. Here are your hosts, Jennifer English and Michael Politz.
Hi.
We're in the kitchen.
We can't hear you.
You can't hear me at all?
No.
Well, let me see if I can fix that.
Oh, I hear you now.
Oh, there you go.
First of all, you just said you can't hear me at all, and I said no. What? So I heard you the whole time.
You heard me the whole time. You play tricks on me. That's like when Guy Fieri at the beginning of Guy's grocery games tries to trick them when the start actually happens. Listen, you could pull the wool over my eyes 100 times today. It's 109 degrees.
Let me ask you a question. Who's Guy Fieri?
Stop it.
You want to hear? Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
That I was supposed to go to Santa Ana or Margarita or wherever his restaurant is. You know what? Right up there by Napa.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to walk with me and Sammy Hagar and Guy, right? And I was like, okay. And then nobody was going to pay for it for me. And I thought that was rude, so I didn't go. We were going to work in Guy's restaurant the whole time and work on Cabo Wabo tequila drinks and all that. But I thought that it was rude. Nobody was going to. Sammy
was one of the first guys to come out with their brand of liquor. And of course, we had a big sale. We're going to talk to Drew Record a little bit later today in the show about what does it mean when a company comes along and buys your American gin for $610 million.
I don't want to. You know what it means?
What?
A lot of fun.
Well, and it
also means that I wouldn't have to do this with you.
Yeah, but you'd want to.
Or you wouldn't have to do this with me.
Yeah, but you'd want to. I'd want to. Hey,
I wouldn't want to.
We also want to tell people that we're creeping up on Proof Awards season.
Oh, we are. You know, I'm wearing your favorite shirt today, too.
I know. You're looking good.
Tell me about the Proof Awards.
Well, the Proof Awards are really, everything we do at Food and Beverage Magazine.
You know what? Let me show you.
Yes.
Need a push getting your spirits, wine, or beverage brand into the hands of consumers? Interested in winning medals like a Double Gold Award? Proof Awards 2020, the ultimate beverage competition, can help jumpstart your brand into the hands of beverage buyers. Enter the Proof Awards. Be a part of the Proof Awards marketing campaign with our partner, Food and Beverage Magazine. All of our judges are buyers, and that's what sets our awards program apart from the others. Our judges head the beverage programs for restaurants, bars, nightclubs, casinos, liquor stores, big box retail, and national wine and spirits distributors. Your brand will be tasted by buyers from more than 15 states across the U.S. We have hundreds of categories to choose from at www.proofawards.com. Be seen by 12 million readers with our partner, Food and Beverage Magazine. Get tasted and rated by buyers. The 2020 Proof Awards competition is open for spirits, wine, and beverage brands today. Proof Awards 2020, moving brands into the marketplace. www.proofawards.com.
Wow, what'd you think of that?
That was a good piece, and that says everything that we this is the second year of the Proof Awards. It was a huge success last year. And Michael, tell everybody about where the products went. You actually
I don't want to make Drew. I know Drew is backstage right now, and I think if I say this, he'll lose his mind because he's quite a journalist. You know what I mean? But Delta Airlines picked up 5 brands that no one's ever heard of, and carried them in all the sky clubs across the world. And that's just Delta Airlines. I think we moved with the Proof Awards just for the judges. Just from the judges alone in orders, over $2 million worth of product from brands that would never have gotten that kind of anything.
That's
and then some of those are distributors that are doing more and more volume, right? I know one that did, post $800,000 once it hit the distributor and went on.
And so just when you think because bars and restaurants are closed, they're open, in some places they're closed, in some places they're open, in some places they're half closed, in some places they're half open. I don't know. Can I sit inside? Can I only sit outside? Can I get booze to go? We got a lot of fluctuation and adaptation happening. We're all in this together. We've all got to take a deep breath. We've all got to figure out how we're going to make it together. But here in the industry, we have to help each other. And one of the things that I wanted to make sure we did today was remind everybody that there is, in fact, stuff going on, and people are being really creative and inventive. And there is still news happening, and there is still stuff going on that's inspiring people. And one of the biggest pieces of food news in the last month is that the vice presidential candidate on the Democratic ticket is a foodie, and not just a foodie, like a bona fide foodie, like a foodie you and I would want to know, hang out with, and dine with.
Really?
For real.
Okay. Does that make you do this?
Yes. When General Harris sees me do that, I'm afraid she'll never want to come on the show and she'll never want to dine with me. But I know
she's a general?
Well, when you're the attorney general somewhere, she's senator, but you can refer to her soon, hopefully, as Madam Vice President. But right now, we are talking about an amazing woman who has a history in California and is well-known, well-liked, and well-respected by our industry. She does a lot for our industry. And when somebody's really renowned and like an awesome human being, think of Dame Nellie Melba, for whom the Peach Melba dessert was named. When you are at the top of your game and you're a good person, people in the hospitality industry will create things and name them after you.
You wouldn't believe how many Politz pizzas, Politz burgers, Politz French fries. Oh my God, Politz foie gras. Wherever I go, it's always something. I've
been lucky. I've had one cocktail named after me at the Los Ventana Canyon, and it was called a Ventana Vavoom, and it was a Calvados sidecar.
Well, I had a drink named after you. It was called the Handsome Englishman.
No, it wasn't.
Whoops, sorry. Who's coming on today? What are you drinking? What's going on? Hold on, what do you got in that glass? What's in that glass? What were you drinking? A little water?
And today I ran out of my Celsius beverage. That's where we are today, because it's 1,000 degrees.
So what about Simone and Janice? Can we call her Janice? That make her crazy?
Simone are coming to join us today. Simone Mims.
Wait, let's do this. Let's call her Sim 1 and Jan Ice.
No, don't make fun. These are extraordinary.
All right, no making fun. Boring show.
Listen, my friend, today is big news because we have a woman on the ticket on the Democratic side.
All right, let's get to our guests.
And a foodie. And our friends, Simone and Janice, have created a cocktail. In fact, we're going to have a lot of fun making drinks today. I've got my ingredients ready, but I have to say, thank you so much for joining us. It's nice to have you here.
It's really exciting to be here. It's a great opportunity to talk to you guys about some cocktails and to chat more about what we love doing.
Now, Janice, I know that are you in Oakland or are you in San Francisco right now?
So I am in San Francisco right now. I live in San Francisco. I've been in San Francisco for the last 15 years. I always say that I will leave, but I never do. So I threaten it every year. It just doesn't happen.
Well, it sounds like you've heard those threats before.
So let's find out what they do, Jennifer. I've got a couple of banners here. I've got Fueled by Agave. I've got SF Local. I've got Port Kitchens. I don't even know who's what, where they're coming from. They're so confusing. I'm, for some reason, very lost today. I feel honestly like I'm being ganged up on. I don't like being around all these ladies.
Well, you kind of are. Let's be honest. We are ganging up on you a little bit today. But that's because my soul sister's on with me today, because we are cheering for this moment in time. And of course, this is going to become an iconic sip. And people all over the country are going to share this both at home, for their at-home virtual happy hours, and in their restaurants. Because we really want to make this be the kind of thing that has a coalescing together effect. So let's talk a little bit, Janice. Where are you right now? And I know that there's, like so many people, we've got shifting and pivoting happening in our professional lives. How would we best cover all your bases?
Well, I am a woman of a lot of different hats. Currently, I just joined the 4Ps group here in San Francisco to be.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's so exciting. I'm originally a former Future Bars love and worked at Bourbon and Branch prior to this, but I'm very excited for this new opportunity to do some spirits buying with this group, as well as manage one of our new concepts called Buena Vida Cantina, which will be opening quite soon. I can't give you the date yet, but it will be opening very, very soon. So that's going to be like a Mexican cantina style. I'm also redoing the cocktail list over here at local kitchen and wine merchant. So just a lot of moving parts and things like that. But in addition to that, I'm also the president of the local San Francisco Bay Area chapter of the United States Bartenders Guild. So many words. So there's a lot.
What? Wait, do you know our good friend H?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's a part of our chapter. A very big contributor to the community.
Do you know that he has horrible Wi-Fi connections?
Funny enough, that's not surprising to me.
And could you write that down and remind yourself to let him know I heard you have horrible Wi-Fi when you see him?
I will be sure to do so.
Jennifer, what about Simone? Simone, you know H as well?
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely H is a prominent member of the bar and restaurant community here in the Bay Area. And, he is working in one of the oldest bars in the country. So, I mean, his Wi-Fi connection probably
one of the oldest.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they could update it for him, and he's quite a woodworker, I noticed as well. We've seen his handy, he's quite a handy guy. Right, Jennifer? And his drink, what's his drink called? Wicked Victor?
I have to go get one. I'm going to pull it back up just to remind everybody, because we love H and all the things that he's doing. But here is the fresh Victor juices that he's producing and making available, so you can make these are not just juices, they're actually cocktail mixes, so that you can make extraordinary drinks at home or your bar.
Did you get paid for that plug? Because you held that up for more than 5 seconds.
Well, you didn't say, yeah, we got it.
Oh, I wasn't going to comment because I wasn't getting paid for it. Do you know what I'm saying, girls? Isn't that the case? If you're not going to get the money, you got to go like this. You know what I'm saying? Simone knows what I'm talking about. Simone, where are you? You're in San Francisco also?
Actually, I am in Oakland. I used to live in San Francisco. I've been in the Bay Area for about 11 years. I've been living in Oakland for the past 2, just started working in Oakland. Over the last few years that I've been coming over to Oakland more often, I really, really, made a decision that I wanted to live over here. I think there's a lot of bright, talented folks over here, and I think the community is strong, just as strong as it is in San Francisco. And we try to work with each other across the bridge. I'm just really happy to be 12 minutes away from home and working in this incredible city and being able to ride for it 100%. So
where are you right now? Are you in a kitchen right now? Hold on, Jennifer. I'm doing the interviewing. What's going on? You're just the girl behind the bar. Why does the bartender, Janice? Why does the bartender always have to comment when I'm talking?
I'm in the prep kitchen right now at Poor Kitchens Marketplace and Bar. We're set to open this weekend. So originally this space was supposed to be an event space, and obviously we've had to pivot because of the circumstances with COVID-19. So now we're pivoting into kind of a mid to high end marketplace and offering a bar concept within it, so people can come in and can get their basic groceries, cocktail kits, cocktails to go, things of that nature. Also, we'll have some seating outside. We'll have a few of our vendors who will be doing fresh food, so they'll be able to sit down, grab a meal, grab a beer, grab a cocktail, glass of wine, whatever, and enjoy the outside space, as well as coming in to grab their essentials from the market as well.
Now, Janice, did you know about that? Did you know that was happening?
Oh, yeah. Simone and I talk on a daily basis. Not only are we both involved in the local chapter of the USBG, but we are very good friends that have a friendship that runs about 10 years deep. So
we used to work together.
Yeah, we used to work together.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so what is SF Local? What is that? this?
So SF Local is kind of a global kitchen concept, and we do pizzas and different styles of cuisine from all around the world, including like right now the menu has a little bit more of like a Greek, Mediterranean, Singapore, Indonesian kind of feel. So there's a lot of different flavors and things coming through, but it's delicious. It's local, and it's a local spot for the people within the area to kind of enjoy.
Okay. Now, what is this? Fueled by agave.
So in my
I'm given all these banners, Jennifer. You didn't warn me. There's a lot of work for me to do today. I'm running the board. No one believes it, but I'm running the board. Okay. So I'm sorry, Janice. Go ahead. And then Simone, we're going to get back to you. What we're going to do is we're going to block out Jennifer from asking questions. So it's my interview. I'm taking over the show. You see what I'm saying? It's the Michael Pollock show today. Drew, you're backstage. We're going to bring you on in a minute, buddy. Okay, just hang tight. He looks like a cowboy. He's a little scary looking. All right, Janice. I'm sorry. Janice, back to you. Fueled by agave.
There's a lot. Like, we're women who do a lot of different things and are very community based. Fueledbyagave.co is actually my educational sector. I do a lot of spirits education, whether it's on Mexican spirits, different brands, cocktails within that, and Fueled by Agave is my platform to do that. So I specialize in agave spirits. I've been studying them for over 10 years. I've been drinking them for far longer. And I, after a trip 6 years ago to Oaxaca, like, my life was forever changed and really made me pivot towards, wanting to educate the world on agave spirits, and not just tequila, not just mezcal, but Bacanora, Satal, which is not agave, but Mexican, but yeah, all the things.
Wow, Jennifer, I'd like to say you bring quite the drinkers on the show, don't you?
I bring the really inspired innovators and leaders on the show.
So on any given night, can we find you at the bar at Elixir, hanging out with H?
I mean,
she's in her own bar.
I know that.
I live at my own bar now. As anybody who works behind the bar as a conceptor of cocktails will all tell you, we live behind the bar.
You know what I would do, Jennifer? I would go poach the customers from the other bars. Simone, you know what I'm talking about.
There's a lot of customers to go around in the Bay Area. We're lucky here in this market to have so many incredible bars doing so many incredible things. I definitely spent a lot of time in Elixir over the last 10, 11 years that I've been coming to, working and living in the Bay Area. I mean, one of the most amazing whiskey and brandy programs in the city. You can always go there and know that you're going to get a lot of knowledge and, just a great experience. I've had some really, really fun times. Some of them I can't even talk about on the air.
I'm going to Google that. Now, wait, are you a chef, Simone? What are you?
No. I'm doing some prep today because we're going to be opening this weekend. I'm a bartender. I've been working in the hospitality industry for about 22 years. I used to work in the kitchen. I've done some back of the house stuff, but when I was working in the back of the house, chefs told me that I had too big of a mouth and I needed to be on the front talking to people instead of being back here annoying everybody. So,
by the way, you can't say that in 2020.
What's that?
You have too big of a mouth.
Well,
we would get in trouble, wouldn't we, Jennifer? You told me never say that, didn't you?
You're driving me.
Thanks for the input.
Meaning I talked too much and I was interacting with too many people in the back of the house. So, he said my personality is too big. You should be on the front talking to people. So that's where I've been, over the last few years, serving and bartending, and just, kind of trying to create spaces where people have a good time and, being the ambassador for the good time.
Now, I have a friend that used to bartend in San Francisco, and I don't know, Jennifer, and I don't know if they know him. Shall I say his name? Shall I?
I don't know where you're going.
His name is Tony, and he used to be a bartender in San Francisco. And I don't know if these fine bartenders know who Tony is, but I'd like to ask.
Did he make mojitos?
He made cable cars.
Oh.
And his name was Tony Abogano. Are you familiar with Tony Abogano?
Name sounds familiar, yeah, for sure.
Well, he acts like he's famous.
Did he write a book or something?
He might have. But you know who else wrote a book, Janice? You know who else? I wrote a book. And that was a great segue into our next commercial break. I like this crew, by the way, Jen.
Whether you are thinking about becoming a restaurateur or you are already in the business, Michael Politz has written a must-read, the Food and Beverage Magazine's Guide to Restaurant Success.
Pick up your copy today at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million, or wherever fine books are sold.
Now, Jennifer, that's great. I want to tell you that was my technique. You see how when you control the interview, how the interviewee lets you segue into where you need to go next? That was a trick that Robin Leach once taught me how to do. You see how we segued into my commercial from my personal book, Janice? Simone, did you see how wasn't that crazy?
Seamless.
It was seamless.
It was so
thank
good.
you. Jennifer, I'm going to leave the table to you now. Shall we bring Drew in, or do you want to wait and mix your drinks first?
We're a little behind.
I don't want to hear about your personal issues.
Thank you.
I need a bump drum today, I think.
You do, I think. I think our timing is just a little.
So is that don't bring Drew in, or do Drew, or don't Drew?
May I have 5 minutes with the ladies, please?
Are you sending me to the timeout?
Almost.
I think we need a timeout thing. All right, I'm going to time.
We're not having a timeout. We're having a happy hour with the ladies. We have to talk about the fact that we don't talk a lot about politics on this show. And there's a reason why we're particularly excited about having the drink that we're featuring today and the creators who gave this drink to us today and sharing this recipe with us so generously, Simone and Janice. Hey, Michael.
Can I just jump in for a second? I know you're talking, but I've got a celebrity on this. Do you see this guy? Do you guys see this? Who commented?
Yeah.
All right. You may have seen him in retail stores all over the world. He is an Abercrombie & Fitch model, right? He's my friend TJ. I mean, I know he doesn't look like it now, but in the old days when he looked good. That, by the way, picture was probably taken about 10 minutes ago. But I just wanted to say, I think he popped on because he needed a little, he probably needed a little pick-me-up because just so you guys know, when guys look like that, they're a little insecure. When they're insecure. Just so all three of you know. But when they look like me, right, Drew? Drew knows what I'm talking about. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. You just called me, and then TJ.
Well, I was going to say, I want to make the ladies bigger because we're going to start making this drink, and they're going to tell us the story of how this Biden-Harris cocktail. When you really become a superstar, people start naming things after you. These are the ladies who created the drink that is named after the vice presidential candidate. Although technically she hasn't accepted the nomination yet, I suppose, because that happens at the convention. So it'll happen imminently. But I'm going to call her the vice presidential nominee. Ladies, this is your senator from California. This is a woman who is showing herself to be a really robust foodie, and that's a really super exciting thing. You're a lifeline to Senator Harris. Can you tell us a little bit about the foodie that you know and love, as well as the politician and the candidate, and how this drink came to life?
Well, I was first approached to do this cocktail as a representative of the San Francisco community. And honestly, with all of Senator Harris's involvement within the Bay community, I didn't feel that it was appropriate for me to do this on my own, just as this ticket isn't done by herself. So I wanted to collaborate with somebody who has a lot of Oakland influence. And knowing Simone and where she's been in her career, I really admire her for what she's done. And I thought that this was a great opportunity to work together, just like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to be working together to get us going forward. So we really pulled a lot of inspiration from different parts of both America as well as the Bay Area to bring together this cocktail.
It's difficult to understand if you're not in the position of being a drinks architect or sort of an inventor of these new cocktails, how these things come about. But most importantly, how often do you feel inspired to name a drink after somebody or are commissioned to do so? This is not a usual thing. You have to really do something special to get a drink named after you.
Well, it's amazing. Like right now, no matter what politics you have, that we are in the midst of this historical event of having a woman of color on the presidential ticket, so that in itself is worth and worthy of a cocktail or many things being named after you. I mean, I honestly can't believe we're still experiencing these kinds of firsts in the United States at this point. But, it's an extraordinary thing to have someone of her stature and someone from the Bay Area and someone from, that's multicultural, that's going to be representing not only California, but hopefully, going to the White House and representing America. So definitely worthy of this, of a cocktail being named after her, of many things being named after her. I'm really, I'm proud to live in the Bay Area, even though I'm not originally from here. I know that, everybody's, has different things to say about the candidates and, what they've done in the past. But what I try to, talk to people about is that, just because somebody's made a mistake in the past doesn't mean that they can't have an opportunity to move forward and learn from their mistakes and try to do better in the future.
Listen, one of the things I wanted to ask each of you is, because you're so elevated in your exposure in the Bay Area on both sides of the Bay with Oakland and San Francisco, what is Senator Harris's public food life like? Is she known in the community as a foodie?
Well, I mean, recently I've been, especially since when she was running for president, I kind of, was looking up. I remember watching a video with her and Mindy Kaling, when they were making dosa, and I just thought it was the most adorable thing, and the fact that she's, doing interviews and like in between mic check, she's giving like recipes on, how to brine poultry. It was, I'm just like, it's nice to know that, politicians and people who are so busy still take time to actually make meals for their family and that still care about food and are concerned, about like the quality of things that are going on the plates of their friends and family. So yeah, that's really cool.
Has Senator Harris ponied up to either of your bars?
Unfortunately, not mine.
Not that I'm aware.
I'm happy to make her this drink.
So you have not made her this drink yet. So this is going to be an election, an inauguration party special.
We'll see. We hope so. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So tell us about the inspiration for the drink and what is the actual name of the drink?
So the actual name of the cocktail is the Biden-Harris ticket, because the cocktail itself is actually inspired by the partnership between the two people. So a lot of the inspiration for each ingredient in this cocktail was really thoughtfully chosen as a little bit of inspiration from our cultures and the U.S., right? So we're using Russell's Reserve Bourbon because we wanted to use something from a traditional bourbon background and an older recognized family, which I love so much, the Wild Turkey family. And what's more American than bourbon, right? That's one of the most American spirits.
Russell is about as beloved as Joe Biden is in his sector.
Yeah.
And then the other two spirits come from the Bay Area. St. George Distillery, which was founded, I think, in 1982, 1981 or 82. They're over here in Alameda. I'm saying over here because I can see Alameda from where I am right now. I'm down in Jack London Square. They amazing producer of different kinds of spirits, but they really kind of embody the Bay Area spirit of production and quality. The liqueurs that you have there, they started off being brandy producers. They used to be involved with Hangar One Distillery. They just, from vodka to brandy to whiskey for themselves, they just really embody quality, and bringing the Russells and then bringing a really amazing high quality Bay Area, two high quality Bay Area spirits together was, it was pretty much a no brainer.
Tell us what kind of drink this is. Is it a highball? And what are we making?
It's definitely a variation on an old fashioned. So an old fashioned with a new twist, as I like to say, to taking our old-fashioned ideas and maybe twisting them into something that's actually functional.
I love that. What a great idea. So is this going to be a big enough glass for me to work from today?
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. I mean, if you want to get a bigger glass, that's on you. You know, you can double up the recipe if you don't feel like, stirring again.
Do you want me to go small for the serving size?
No, that's fine.
No.
How big is your rice?
Are we serving on the rocks today?
On the rocks.
You
We
got
want
it.
to make this as simple as possible for everybody to do at home. So in reality, once you add everything in and just do it and stir, you should be able to put the ice in, give it a couple stirs, and start sipping.
So are we building this drink in the glass we're going to serve it in? Or are we making a batch of these?
Well, first thing you want to do with the glasses, you want to do that garnish of the chocolate salt. If you have that available, just the cocoa powder and salt. You just want to, just wet the glass and put that on there first, and then you can start building the cocktail inside the glass from there.
Okay. And then the ice goes in next?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Are you making one too?
Oh, I'm at work right now, so I can't. I'm not imbibing today.
Okay. All righty. And then next?
So we're going to want to, I like to always go my larger spirit first. We're going to do 2 ounces of that Russell's Reserve just straight into the glass. Because we like them boozy.
I love it. What next?
So next we're going to do a half ounce of the St. George Spice Pear Liqueur.
This is an amazing product. If people don't know this, it's amazingly delicious, but it's really wonderfully versatile. And the spice notes in this will really hint at and mimic many of the spice notes that we get in some of our favorite bitter brands, like Angostura. It's got all those wonderful baking spices.
Love it.
Why are you laughing? What did I do?
Oh,
no,
nothing.
not you. He's popping up these things on the screen.
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
it was like Batman wow, right? Like instead of pow, it was wow.
I know, it's good.
Yeah.
All right, and then what next?
So we're going to do a 1/4 ounce of the St. George coffee liqueur. Now this has a little bit of a chicory background to it. And it's also, what's great about this is instead of like in your classical fashion, you would typically add Angostura bitters. But instead, because this has a bitterness to it on the backbone, like it really just kind of well rounds that whole entire cocktail.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least?
Just want to add a little pinch of brown sugar in there. And this is to taste. You can, some people like, I'm not a big, I'm not a big sweet drinks person. So just a pinch, you start with that. And after you stir it, if you want it a little bit sweeter, you can definitely add another pinch, depending on your brown sugar and, the richness of it. And you just give it a good stir and there you go.
Yeah. And drink.
Do we have a toast developed yet? Has anyone from the USBG Bay Area chapter coined a toast? This may be the time to bring in the incomparable Drew Record, one of the most learned men and beautiful wordsmiths I know, to help us with this. Is there a toast for this drink yet?
Not as of yet, but we can, come up with one.
Oh, wow, that's delicious.
Thanks.
That's delicious. That is really complex and delicious. And that kiss of the spice notes with the pear, it's so fulsome and voluptuous. This is a very voluptuous, sophisticated drink.
It's got a lot of power to it and a lot of spirit, right?
Mm. Wow, that's delicious. That's a real, watch the results in the landslide come in. It's kind of a drink. This is a victory speech drink.
Well, there's a woman I used to work with, and this is a toast that she used to say, and it's a kind of one of those corny friendship toasts. It basically goes, there are good ships and there are wood ships. The ships that sail the sea, but the best ships are friendships, and may they always be. So, I mean, the USVG is about community and friendship. And so when you asked about the toast, that's the one that came to mind for me.
You know, it's about those things, and it's about service, not only to our guests, not only to the cultivation of conviviality, but it's also in service to one another, especially during tough times. And it's in service to our communities. And that's one of the things that makes me a very proud, long-standing member of the United States Bartenders Guild. There he is. Drew Record, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I love this. This is so delicious.
I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun creating it.
Now, will bars throughout the Bay Area be offering this through the election season?
Not sure. I mean, as you well know, a lot of the bars and restaurants in the Bay Area are in different stages of being open, being closed, having restricted service. So, I mean, if they definitely, if it's being served, that's great. I want people at this point to make sure that they're, as long as they're serving responsibly and they're serving safely, making sure that their employees are being taken care of, serve it is great. I just hope that everybody can get a chance to taste it and, celebrate with it when November comes, so we can get ourselves out of this mess.
And more importantly, vote.
Vote.
Yes. Vote. Everybody must vote. I also want to say something about how deliciously American this drink tastes. This is a drink that you will slide all the way through the holiday season with, because it's a very contemporary version. You described it as an old fashioned, but it really, to me, in some ways, it sort of hints more in that sort of Manhattan family, and that sort of warm, rich quality that it offers. It's delicious.
Fantastic, Jennifer. Now, what's Drew doing here? Why'd you bug him for the hour for today? You had nothing else to do? Drew, I am so sorry. I don't want you ever to think that we kept you backstage for too long.
Well, one of my favorite old SNL skits, what's up with that? I'm happy to be the Lindsey Buckingham. If you need to bump me having said nothing, then this little, bit and move on to the next segment. I'm just happy to present, my two friends, Janice and Simone, and, share this wonderful cocktail. I'm a whiskey person. And when I read about this, I just thought it was too good not to share to a wider national audience. And so, Jennifer came to mind, and, Michael, I just, hope, maybe you get to try it too. You get some ingredients and, enjoy.
Well, they don't include me in there much.
Listen, Drew, let's talk about the fact that this drink is really, it's irresistible. It's sensational. This is one of the best original drinks I've had in a very long time. I would never have thought to put the spiced pear with this, with the coffee, and have it work out this way. It's really phenomenal. I can't pay enough high compliments to this. If there was a category in the Proof Awards for Best New Cocktail, I would suggest this should be in the running.
Well, I've had the privilege of sitting at both of these ladies' bars many times, and I can say it's not just this cocktail that they're great at making. So I'm glad that this one knocks out of the park. But if you get a chance to go to any bars that they're running, if you're ever in San Francisco or Oakland, make sure you stop on by.
Let's talk a little bit. Oh, there he is.
I just felt like it was time. You said SNL, Drew, and one of my best friends is the most handsome devil I know. I mean, this is a handsome guy.
Ticket, Mr. John Lovitz.
That is a handsome devil.
The
You brought it up,
SNL himself.
and I just felt it was nice to show his picture. That's all. Actually, he was doing a show at some improv or something, and we were FaceTiming while he was down on the wharf in San Francisco about 1.5 years ago. So San Francisco is so close to my heart. Drew, go ahead. Back to you.
Drew, let's talk. Ladies, thank you so much. I want to get a sense, how's the industry doing? How are our brothers and sisters in the industry doing? How's the COVID and the pandemic impacting everybody that's in the service?
I just want to interrupt, Jennifer, and say that heavyweight champion of the world, Shannon Briggs, is calling me right now, and I'm putting him to voicemail for you, ladies. Go ahead. He beat George Foreman, ladies. George Foreman. Have you heard of him? And Lennox Lewis, go ahead. Back to you.
Yeah, he's the guy with the grill, right?
Yes, that's good. I love
No,
it.
that's Troy Shortman.
I love hamburgers.
Hey, listen, we also have one more drink to make, but I really want to make sure people around the country, especially other people in the industry that are watching us, get a sense about people in other parts of the country and what they're going through. How bad are things in San Francisco for our trade?
I mean, we're all trying to hang on with the brink of our teeth. It's really difficult. I see so many of my friends struggling to figure out what to do. So many people pivoting in and out of the industry, moving. I mean, the amount of moving trucks that I see on a regular basis just off of my own street is incredible. So I feel incredibly gracious and incredibly thankful to be a part of this wonderful group and have this opportunity with the 4 Ps group and Local Kitchen and Wine Merchant, as well as Buena Vida Cantina. So I'm very thankful, but I also know that there are a lot of people struggling, and the laws are changing every day. So it's really hard to keep up. I know Simone can give you the Oakland update on that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad. You know, every day I have a conversation with a friend of mine who is struggling with knowing what is next in their life. It's really, really, really difficult right now. And with what Janice just said about the laws changing every single day, you know, there was one day a couple weeks ago we were doing a soft open day, and then they told we couldn't open, you know, because they were like, oh no, all outside dining is shut down, and then 2 days later, oh yeah, you're ready to open again. I think that what we're all trying to do is just figure out our way through and be there and support one another. You know, when we find out, you know, place is hiring, we, call a friend who's hey, this place is hiring, go over there and try to get, a job. I've seen, a lot of people, like Janice also said, pivoting out, saying, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And, they're finding other ways to occupy their time and trying to, find other industries to be able to make ends meet. Some people are working in grocery stores, some people are working for distributors. It's just, it's hard to see all of these, wonderful people who've had to figure this thing out, and what we said, the Bay Area is a very strong community. We love and support each other. We try to be there for each other. I know the USBG has done incredible work, with trying to, disseminate funds to people in the hospitality industry. And what people don't understand about that organization is that, it's a volunteer organization. Nobody's getting paid to do that. And a lot of the people, including Janice, have been working so hard to support this community, while they're going through their own personal struggles. And it's, I just have to say, I'm incredibly proud of the leadership of the USBG at this point, and everybody else up there who's kind of banded together to help each other out. It's really, like I said, a strong community, and I'm really proud of us. And, like I said, I'm just trying to be here and support each other.
Yeah, locally, we actually have a program called Feed Hospitality, which isn't limited to just bartenders. It's for all hospitality in the Bay Area, where we've partnered with the farmers market here to create produce boxes that are up to $45, $50 in value, which can feed our community for up to 2 to 3 weeks. And I know that I've personally gotten one. I know a lot of people who have, and it's literally saved a lot of people's stomachs for a while. Plus, it's all fun.
And Drew, I want to have you chime in too, but I know the chapter in Arizona and around the country, the chapters are looking out for one another in the hospitality industry. And I'm glad to hear you reporting that that's the case in San Francisco. Drew, talk about the industry. You're sort of in the executive side of things, in the brand ambassadorship side of things. How are things being explained to you about what's open, what's not open, and what's going on with this constant revolving door changing with the legislation and the rules?
Oh, it's something we keep up to, every morning we have meetings, right? In my role as a Teeling Whiskey ambassador, I've got colleagues in Texas and Florida, New York, Chicago, across the country. And, it's different day by day in each place, right? I've got a colleague in Dallas that just did a staff training with 15 people, and they were all inside. And, I just, kind of my jaw dropped. And I went, well, we'd never be able to do that here in San Francisco. We're not allowed to be inside. We have to be socially distanced. Our masks on if we're not actively, drinking or eating. And so, it's really interesting to see. There are glimmers of hope here and there, right? You see new restaurants and projects coming on board. Simone and Janice both have a project coming up. I myself consulted on a hotel, the Tux in Tucson, that opened in the middle of this pandemic, and I trained.
Did you know that, Jennifer? Did you see him while he was down there? Oh,
no, we actually did not.
Come on over here, sugar.
But I have to compliment Drew, because he came up with a program that they took our high touch world and created a no-touch, safety, sanitary way of having cocktails. And they've got these wonderful bottled cocktails and Drew, I'll let you talk about that, because I have a couple of them here. We're going to make another drink together. But I think it's important to remember, and let me give you can you see that okay?
Gold Dust Woman.
That's me, baby.
Now, Drew, did you create that name, Gold Dust Woman?
Well, no, I picked the name from my record collection. So since the hotel has this sort of 70s and 80s feel to it, it's a little bit Palm Springs meets Rodeo Drive with that dusty old Pueblo feel. We took our cocktail names from the catalogs of Fleetwood Mac and Linda Ronstadt.
I love Linda Ronstadt. Who doesn't love Linda Ronstadt?
So
beautiful, Drew. That's a brilliant idea. Do you know Max Solano?
Oh, yeah.
That's all. I just wanted to know if you know.
Okay.
Go ahead. Back to you. Back to you, Jen.
Well, back to Drew. So, Drew.
Well, Max is my friend. I'm just kidding. Max is my friend.
I want to have you tell us a little bit about. We're going to make another drink together. This is one of Drew's drinks. It's actually a Teeling whiskey drink, and I've got the strawberry syrup made for it, and some beautiful fresh lemons. I wish I was making one for each of you, but we're going to make one together here right now. So, Drew, tell us about what we're going to make.
Well, so the inspiration is taking whiskey in a direction that is accessible to everyone, right? I hear so often from folks that whiskey is a man's drink, and it annoys the dickens out of me to gender spirits, right? Whiskey isn't for men or for women; it's for everyone. And so the idea is to kind of broaden the range of flavors that you're going to use, much like the cocktail that you made a moment ago with Janice and Simone, right? Taking the flavors of fresh pear and coffee and expanding the horizons of what you can do with whiskey. This is the same thing, taking that Teeling Dublin whiskey as your base, and then adding fresh market ingredients. So this point of summer, we've still got strawberries coming through, a little brightness of citrus from the lemon, sort of a smash. It should be simple and refreshing to drink. Most of these drinks were designed to be poolside sippers, right? So in Tucson, when it's 106 degrees outside, even in the shade, you need to go the refreshing route until November.
Yeah. So what kind of glass do you want me to make this in today?
You can do it in a short glass there.
It's like this?
Yeah.
Ice in?
You're going to want to give the strawberries a little bit of a crush with a spoon or a muddler first, so that you've got those, as part of the drink. They're going to just be there to enjoy throughout.
I have to say, the recipe for the strawberry syrup was sensational. It turned out brilliantly. Okay. Okay, muddled in.
All right, and you're going to add 1.5 ounces of that Teeling Irish whiskey to your strawberries there.
That looks delicious.
And, for at home, about a 1/4 ounce to a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. Now, if you're at the bar, you'd be making a strawberry syrup like you made, Jennifer. And, you can use that, since you've got it there.
And I want to say, I really want to, when we share the recipe, I really want to encourage people to do that. I don't know if you can see the beautiful bits of strawberry in the syrup itself, but it turned out brilliantly. Sorry, my camera's so far away. I've only got the one camera. Up next.
We're going to put a half an ounce of lemon juice in there just to brighten things up.
Now, in a perfect world, I would have opened up my friend H's Fresh Victor lemon juice, but I just did a fresh squeeze.
There you go. And, if you had a cocktail shaker, you'd shake this. But, we're going you've got one. Perfect. So, you're going to shake that and incorporate all your ingredients together. And then you're just going to strain that back into the glass, put some ice. If you want to lengthen it with some soda water, you can lengthen it that way. Nice Topo Chico to make it, taller. If you wanted to go sweet, a little Tepache soda, or you could do tamarind soda. Really, these are the bases for lots of different drinks, right? Incorporating a bit of brightness, freshness, and whiskey together.
That is a really beautiful drink. And what's so interesting, it sort of evokes the beautiful agua frescas that are commonly popular in this region this time of year.
Well, we took a lot of inspiration from the region around us, and it's the reason why all the slushy drinks can be topped with a fruit salad, topped with tahini and a little bit of a tamarind paste. I like the idea of the Pilates man, coming by the pool, but with boozier versions. And strawberry and whiskey go pretty well together.
They go, they go surprisingly well, especially with a whiskey that. I love Irish whiskey in general, but I don't ever think of it in the same cocktail terms that I do with a bourbon, and I really should, because it's really delicious. And it's a beautiful blender when you have a teeling like this to blend with.
And that particular whiskey, it spends the end of its life in rum barrels, right? So you start in ex-bourbon barrels, and then it gets moved over to rum barrels, and so you get that rum brightness on the nose, all that molasses and sorghum sort of coming through to really round the edges of that cocktail.
And I have these ice-cold bottle cocktails that were the Gold Dust Woman from the Tucson Hotel, and this has some honey in it. Talk a little bit about how this one came today.
Yeah, so Aberfeldy single malt Scotch has notes of honey already. We paired that with a local Tucson whiskey as well, the Del Bach. So those two coming together to marry in the bottle, along with a local mesquite flower honey. So bees takes on the flavor of what the bees are pollinating, right? And so in this case, mesquite blossom gives that nice, dusty earthiness to it. So a little bit of that comes through in the cocktail as well. Dash of mole bitters to finish that southwestern flavor profile, and there you go.
We have a few minutes left.
Jen, I have some pictures from the opening of the hotel while you were drinking Drew's concoction. So this is you having. But that was just earlier in the night.
That's before I fell off the bar.
No, this is this is when you first got there, the classy Jennifer English, ladies and gentlemen. Jen, you look beautiful. You look beautiful that night.
That's about 40 pounds ago.
Was that the Hope Diamond, Jen? Was that the Hope?
Listen, you know what? I want to ask our friends something, because there are so many of our friends in the business around the country that we really benefit from the inspiration we get from one another. What have you got to share to inspire your colleagues in other parts of the country to keep either the work that they're doing fresh and exciting, or to be able to capture something to break through a tough moment? What are some lessons that you learned from this experience that you can share?
Well, I mean, at the height of things, and when everything kind of shut down, and we were just kind of sitting around for a bit, rest, something that I learned that I hadn't had in a long, long time. In this industry, we're constantly working. We're constantly putting our health at risk, whether there's a pandemic or not, just kind of always working ourselves to the bone, and just being able to rest has been, amazing to give, me some insight and some personal insight and also professional insight. And we need that. We need that rest and relaxation to be creative, to be our best selves when we are taking care of people in the hospitality industry. So one of the big lessons I learned was like, hey, you need to stop more often and, get that rest and for your physical and mental health. So, that is something that we've talked a lot about in the industry over the last few years, especially mental health care. And a lot of people are still stressed and they're still in anguish right now. And we've had to reach out to each other and just kind of check in and be like, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? Do you need to talk? Do you need to cry? Do you need to hit something? Like, let me know. And so just kind of, reaching out to the community and making sure that everybody is checking in on one another and making sure that we're doing okay from a mental perspective as well.
And it's hard to have balance when things are so out of balance.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, just to resonate what Simone said, pretty much the same. But for me, it's be kind to yourself and to others. It's just such a precarious time. It's hard to see what our future beholds, like what's going to happen. So for me, it's be kind, say what you want to happen. I had this opportunity come to me without even realizing that it was there. And I literally was saying every day to myself, like, all I want is my own little agave program where I can do like fun cocktails and things. And all of a sudden I find myself in that position. So there are opportunities still there. We have to still keep our creative juices flowing and, keep trying and keep our creative minds at work. So whether that's making cocktails at home or connecting with your fellow bartender friends and your community or trying to figure out a way to help out, there's so many opportunities and such a great time for us to pivot. The amount of like bartender groups that have come out of this time supporting, Black Lives Matter, as well as community efforts and pivoting towards lobbying for bartender rights and, hospitality rights is incredible. So despite the dire and awful part of like COVID and being in this pandemic, we still have been able to find light with the help of our community and find a better place to be. So just know it's going to get better eventually.
I love that you were talking about the great mystic law of the universe, having an ear to your message. I think that's wonderful. The other thing I want to say is you've got to make sure you come for the Southwest Spirits Conference the next time we have one. We do have one every year, and I don't know if you've come in years past, but it's really one of the great agave festivals in the world.
I would absolutely love that.
I'll make sure we get you invited. You can come hang out with me.
I'm going to come in Janice's luggage because it's usually big enough to fit somebody in there.
Oh, come on. I don't travel light, okay? I get that.
Not at all. Her bags are usually bigger than her.
I mean, do you see the glasses match the outfit and the hair? I am with outfits.
I love your look.
Thank you.
I know, right? Listen, let's not give anybody any grief. I mean, I've got a glasses shirt matching thing going on too. A girl's got to do what a girl's got to do.
Yeah.
Drew Record, I'm going to give you the last word about how you can inspire our colleagues and friends around the industry, around the country.
I'd like to give Drew the last word, Jennifer. Can we do that?
I would echo, Simone and Janice, talking about community, talking about intentionality, but really the thing that is driven home for me is not taking anything for granted, right? Knowing that the bar down the street is always going to be there and you can always go back for another drink, isn't the case anymore. And so, telling our friends what they mean to us and telling the bars and the restaurants that we love, why we love them, and just encouraging one another, I would say, is the biggest thing that, I would want everyone to take away.
Let's tell everybody the brands that we use today to make these drinks, because I want people to try these at home. I think it's really important for when we do things that there's a chance for you to make it, to try it, to taste it, to buy it, to bring it home, to share it, because conviviality is when we're together, clinking glasses and actually sharing what it is we have. Even if it's some stone soup, No matter what it is we have, everybody in our business has a heart that will make us share it with whoever we're with. That's one of the things we love about this business, and it's one of the things I love about having you guys here with us today. I want to give you the last words about who and what we were tasting today. Drew, I'm going to let you start because I know you're the tealing man.
Yeah, so today we tasted some marvelous whiskeys. The ones that I represent: Teeling Irish Whiskey and Aberfeldy Single Malt Scotch.
And I'll hold this label up because again, I would encourage everybody. This was such a terrific. I don't know. Can you see this? Okay.
Who's looking at that when we can see your eyes, Jennifer?
Oh, stop it.
So that's the Teeling small batch in particular. There's also a single grain and single malt expression. But get started with that small batch and you love it, and graduate on to the other ones.
And then when we started for the Biden Paris ticket, we started with this fantastic Russell's Reserve. This is a 10-year-old terrific Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Ladies, you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh my goodness. It's made by the same family that makes Wild Turkey. Jimmy Russell is one of my favorite people on earth. And he is the creator of Wild Turkey. This is his son's ode to him that they worked on together in a fun way. And it's delightful and delicious. And I know everyone on this call thinks so.
Oh, yeah.
And then the two incredible St. George's. This is the incredible, it's called the Nola Coffee Liqueur. And I'm sure it's got a wonderful story. We can tell a little bit about it.
You don't need to read the story, Jennifer. I'm sure somebody can Google it.
But it says Laissez le bon temps rouler.
Laissez le bon rouler, everybody.
One of the interesting things about St. George bottlings is they always have some little like phrase embedded in all of their bottles. Like it's supposed to, sometimes they're like quirky, sometimes they're a little cheeky. But that spirit is inspired by New Orleans style coffee, which, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Blue Bottle. They have the chicory and it gives that bitter note to offset the sweet. Really, really good.
And on this bottle, it says where refinement meets bravado. This is the spiced pear liqueur from St. George's. I'm sorry, you can't really see as well. The lighting's not great on the black label, but it's terrific stuff.
They're looking at you anyway, Jennifer.
Oh, I love you for that. No, you, man. All right. Hey, listen, guys, thank you for coming in, for sharing all this. And stay in touch. And we've got all your contact information up there. Have you got events coming up that anybody else can participate? Are you doing any other mixology classes for your guests? Can people learn to make drinks with anything you're doing? What's going on that we might be able to watch you do?
I mean, if anybody wants private classes, they can go to my website. For me personally, and I do private classes as well as public, so they're all listed right over there. But yeah, that's for me. I know Simone's opening up her spot a little bit more over in Oakland, so she can tell you more.
And if anyone needs any private whiskey classes or groups, you can reach out to us on Instagram at Barrels and Bees. And you don't just reach me, but you reach my colleagues from across the country as well. So
we won't only reach you, Drew.
Well, luckily with virtual classes, I can teach a class in New York or Chicago, but I also have really fantastic counterparts there that can lead seminars both live and live and virtual. So you have a big corporate event that you want a whiskey tasting for, reach out to us.
Yeah. And are you guys doing more and more of this online in virtual rooms and Zooms?
Oh yeah, I mean,
so many Zooms.
Pretty much every single job requirement that I had, my bosses made a list of what the alternative online requirement version is. So yeah, we're doing a lot of virtual things.
Okay. Listen, thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Jennifer, you used the word virtual a lot. I virtually was about to fall asleep during that show programming. Except when Drew was on. That's all. What do you have to say?
You are my friend. You're in rare form today.
Was I?
Yeah. Hey, listen, you know who's on with us on Friday?
Nobody.
The Emmy Award-winning Mark Tarbell. He's the host of PBS Plate and Pour. I think he's just finishing up production of the next season of his Emmy Award-winning show.
I love that. And then I'm doing the keynote at some trade show, virtual trade show next week, right on the 24th.
Yes. And
we'll have more information on that. I think I have David Burke, our favorite famous chef, and Dan Simons is coming on also to talk about the. It's going to be a serious thing. I can't act up on that. I don't think I have to be very lethargic.
Thank you very much.
Jennifer, I want to thank you. I know things have been fabulously hot for you because you're one hot mama, including the heat. And thank you. No final word?
I don't know what to say today, Michael.
I'd like you to have an apron that says "Kiss the Cook," actually.
Listen, I have a special apron that Melanie Young sent me I'm going to wear on Friday. And we'll be in the kitchen with Mark Tarbell. He's going to teach us some of his most special recipes from his new show.
Ooh, fantastic. Mundo. Have a nice evening, Jen.
Hug your kids and count your blessings.